I'd love for it to properly click on Sunday and us to get a real big victory. I kind of feel like it may be not quite as glamorous as that. It may be something like 2-0, which I think we'd all settle for right now. It just doesn't really strike me Dingwall is a ground where you go and play your absolute best stuff and win, 4-5-0. But again, I'll happily be wrong in terms of that. 2-0 would probably be my official prediction. Okay, everyone, job done for Celtic yesterday in the Highlands, the very often pesky Highlands. Victory over Ross County, 3 more points in the bag, 3 points closer to the league title. We can move 6 points closer to glory this weekend. If you want to find out how the mathematics of that work, stay tuned. So, Ross County 0, Celtic 2 yesterday. Celtic's 30th league game of the season and remarkably our 28th win. We are still 9 points clear at the top, just as we have been since the middle of November. So, Celtic 85, Rangers 76, 8 games to go for every side, meaning that Rangers can hit 100 points if they win their final 8 matches. That means that Celtic need 16 more to be guaranteed title winners. So we're 16 points away at this moment. If we beat them on Saturday, we will be just 10 away from glory. And given that we have a vastly superior goal difference, it's actually going to be less than that. And that's the maximum. Bit of hard work to be done, but win on Saturday, we're going to be feeling incredibly good about our chances of winning the league. So yeah, that's what we've got to look forward to this week. It is Derby week. We're going to be just kind of gearing up for that as we go along. Today's video, I think, certainly to begin with, will be about yesterday, although the derby's never really going to be too far away from our minds. John and Asim were on the reaction after yesterday's game. You can see that by clicking the wee pop-up at the top of the video. And rather shockingly, I must say that I actually agreed with, I think, virtually everything that the guys said. I felt like they kind of got the summary pretty spot on for yesterday. Celtic were not at their best. We can play far better than that, but the most important thing was the victory. I thought Alistair Johnson was perhaps our best performer, I would say, between him and Cameron Carter-Vickers for man of the match. I think we just kind of take Carter-Vickers' consistent level of performance for granted at this stage, which is a testament to him. But I thought he was really good yesterday. Alistair Johnson perhaps just edged him for man of the match. I thought Dyson Maeda had his moments. The one in the second half where he showed all his pace and a real kind of calmness to find Kyogo when he missed that sitter was great. I thought Iwata was good for what was his first start. He's clearly going to be an important player for us. Elsewhere, maybe not a great deal to write home about in terms of kind of individual performances, if I'm honest. But having said that, if you do rewatch the game or even just watch the highlights, we had a number of chances. On another day, we could quite conceivably have scored 5, maybe even 6 goals yesterday. When you consider we hit the woodwork twice, Kyogo missed like an incredible chance by his standards, the one that he would stick away 99 times out of 100, and we obviously scored 2 goals as well and had some other chances. So yeah, at the time, I'll be honest, it got a little bit nervy, especially when County were kind of throwing it at us a little bit. I don't think they created like a major chance, but they had a couple of ones flashed across and headed over the bar, and I think Hart kind of made one kind of save where he came out and kind of palmed it away. But really, when you rewatch the game, yeah, it was relatively comfortable. But I just think when everything is on the line, it never seems that way at the time. And this is with like a 9 or a 6 point advantage as it was yesterday. I mean, imagine it was neck and neck at this stage, how nerve-wracking that would have been. Just as well, we've got that wee cushion. All joking aside, the game did go as I envisaged. It's how most of our trips to Dingwall under Ange have gone. We're usually not at our best, but we find a way to win Usually with the help of late goals. I was doing a wee bit of research for a change today and discovered that we've scored in the 87th minute or later in all 5 of our trips to Ross County under Ange, which is pretty cool, considering the majority of those have come stoppage time, like yesterday, or like the Ralston goal. What else from yesterday before I go on to some of your comments? I thought our subs were really good. All really came on and offered something, with the exception of Rocco Vata, who got about 10 seconds on the park. The other 4, who were Turnbull, O, Bernabe and Haksabanovic, all really came on and got involved in the game and really gave Ross County something else to think about. And I'd need to look again properly, but I think from those 4 players kind of coming onto the park, County didn't really trouble us so much, and our threat increased as well. All 4 of them could really have scored when you think about it. Bernabe obviously scores. Haksabanovic has that chance right from the edge of the box that blazes it over the bar. Could easily have scored there. Turnbull had a shot as well, and O had 2 or 3 chances. I mean, the one when O takes it down is just incredible, strength and skill, and then just puts it wide of the post. So all 4 of our subs came on and really got involved, and we know from listening to what Ange has to say after games that is something that he really values. Subs not feeling sorry for themselves that they didn't start the game, just coming on, and whether it's 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, really making an impact, making the most of their time on the pitch. And I thought it was excellent yesterday, and that may well be very important this coming weekend as well. So I thought that was a really positive part of the game. I'm just going to bring in some of your comments from yesterday, ignoring the snide one slagging off me and Stevie, even though we weren't actually on the video. First up is Wilbo Mick saying, I like Iwata, might not quite have the creative playmaking abilities of McGregor, but he's a natural defensive midfielder that can play a bit. Think he'll be a big player for us. First proper look at Iwata yesterday's first start for the club. I thought he was good. I think his movement is really good. The thing that, when I watch Iwata playing, and you do get a much better view of this at the game, but even, from the limited bits I've seen in the flesh prior to yesterday, he really knows where to be. He knows the Postecoglou system. He knows kind of where to stand, but more importantly, he knows where his teammates are going to be. And I think you saw real evidence of that yesterday. Even in the Bernabe goal, I think it's between him and Haksabanovic, kind of a wee mix-up, but they were both aware of who was behind them. And I thought it was a good debut. My issue, and it's kind of separate from Iwata's actual performance, is can Iwata and McGregor play together, and can we get the best out of both when they're on the pitch at the same time? And I think the jury is out regarding that at the moment. Now, first of all, I need to say, and I think this was actually brought up by Rodney McMinge, pointing out that Hatate and Moy had been missing yesterday, and it makes you realise the value of them. And I think that's a fair point, that all of this has to kind of keep that in mind. We were missing Moy and Hatate yesterday, and maybe McGregor and Iwata won't tend to play together. Maybe we were just forced into that yesterday. But it was really McGregor, because shock horror, everyone, genuine, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down, etc.? McGregor was kind of average yesterday, and I can't remember the last time I ever had to say that about Callum McGregor. Now, again, it may just have been a wee bit of an off day for him, etc. I kind of got the impression that part of that was because he wasn't impacting the game in the same way, because he was playing further forward. Now, I think McGregor is a number 6. I think that's where he's best. I think that's where his attributes are best suited. McGregor is a great reader of the game. He's a really tidy passer, and he carries the ball well. And I'm not sure you get the best out of those 3 things when he is playing further forward. So that would be my one thing, looking forward. Can Iwata and McGregor play together? Now, I actually think next season in the Champions League, hopefully if we get there, we may well be looking at a midfield 3 of McGregor, Iwata and Hatate, possibly with Hatate the only one that's more advanced, so McGregor and Iwata the kind of deeper of that midfield 3. But domestically, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this goes and where Iwata fits in. I was kind of watching it, wondering whether he could play as one of the 8s rather than the 6s. Now, the feeling online seemed to be that wouldn't be possible, that his game was a more defensive one, which is fair enough. I just think McGregor's so important for us in that number 6 that I wouldn't want us taking him out there. I want McGregor to be dictating that play in every game that we play. And he was kind of out of the game, on the periphery of the game yesterday. Probably through no fault of his own. It was probably just the way things went. But Angel has seen that. I mean, it's not as if we're sitting here and other people on various other places are sitting here and Ange isn't seeing it. So I wouldn't worry about it at all. I just think it's an observation from yesterday. Next up we have James Daly. To be fair, hate penalty handball. Be raging if it went against you. We must have Taylor back, as Bernabei is volatile and gives the ball away. But what a goal. Now, Bernabei, to me, might be the most interesting Celtic player. In terms of, like, where he's going to end up, how good he can be, whether he's even going to be a success at Celtic, because again I would say that is kind of a topic that's open to debate at the moment. He clearly has all of the ability going forward. Now, his goal yesterday was brilliant. I think it could be a really big moment for him, but even prior to that goal, I would say he had a pretty promising performance when he came on. It was exactly what we needed at that stage of the game, to inject a bit of life. I thought he and Haksabanovic really kind of dovetailed well on that left-hand side, and that would be a partnership I'd keep an eye out for in the future. And it actually can open my eyes a little bit, because Ange doesn't tend to make subs in the fullback areas. Now, obviously, in case of injury, he does, but if there's no injuries, you tend to see the player who starts at right back and left back playing the entirety of matches. He tends to save his subs for the attacking positions. And I thought yesterday Bernabei really made a difference when he came on. I thought he was really, really lively, to the extent that I would kind of look at that as being a potential sub against tiring teams in the future. Thought he was really good. But having said all that, there's always kind of another side with Bernabei, and that still worries me, and it's his awareness, and it's almost the basic things that he does, where there was one yesterday where he got the ball and he had 3 county players running to him, and you're just saying, just hook it in the channel. You can't afford to give it away here. And he tried to skin all 3 and I think gave it away, and we kind of got away with it. But in a bigger game, maybe a more hostile environment, maybe like next Saturday, you'd be worried about that. So, yeah, my conclusion on Bernabei at the moment is that he has the potential to be a really, really good player for Celtic that we sell on for a lot of money. He clearly has that potential. He almost just needs to work on the basic parts of his game. So passing, kind of game awareness, knowing who's around you, and also the tackling and the defensive side more generally. So I think he's going to be really interesting to watch. I just really hope that goal yesterday was a real big moment for him and he can really kick on now. He's not been a bad signing, I wouldn't say. But, like, when Taylor went off injured yesterday, I wouldn't have been the only one worried about next Saturday. And I think we need to get to a stage where Taylor could go off injured and you'd be thinking, oh, that's all right because we've got Bernabei, like we've got on the right-hand side, usually with, Johnston and Ralston. Was excellent when he came on yesterday. And in my humble opinion, 5 days out, is going to score against Rangers on Saturday. Hello everyone, next Sunday watching this. Hiya, clip myself up there. Yeah, I've got a good feeling about for the weekend. I've got a good feeling generally about the weekend. I guess most of us have, without meaning to talk for you. We've just got such a good home record, such a good recent derby record, and the team is in such a good place. I would say, yeah, I'm confident. I think it's all right to say that. Having said that, I think my confidence levels will rise or fall depending on what our team looks like for Saturday and what the news is on certain injuries. Now, just to recap, we have James Forrest, Anthony Ralston and Liel Abada, who will miss the game. That's as per recent comments from Ange last week. So those 3 won't play. We do, however, have Greg Taylor, Aaron Moy and Reo Hatate, who we hope will make it. All three are key players, and spoiler, would be in my starting lineup for the game. The early signs are good. So on Taylor, who kind of went off yesterday midway through the second half for Bernabei, Ange said he had a dead leg which hampered him, but it's nothing that's going to keep him out, I wouldn't think. So good news there. On Moy and Hatate, prior to the game, Ange said, Reo and Aaron were close but not quite ready. We've got a full week after this game, and if everything goes well, they should be available. So that's where we're at right now. Hopefully, nothing is guaranteed, but hopefully those three players are fit and ready to start, and we have the strongest possible team we could have out there on Saturday. Other than that, strap yourself in for an interesting week in the media. It always is in the lead up to these games, even more so when there's no midweek fixtures. There'll be plenty of stuff being spoken about ahead of the game. I would expect a fair bit of talking across the city, chat about gaps that do or don't exist. I would expect plenty of talk about it being a must-win for Rangers, maybe even some former Celtic pundit, Chris Commons or Mark Wilson, saying that they would maybe take a draw for this game, given where the league sits at the moment. I will certainly not be taking a draw at this stage. I don't think many of us will. Kind of goes against everything that Ange has fostered over the last 18 months if we were to be happy with a draw and kind of thinking that's all right. No, want to go out and beat them and put this league to bed as soon as possible. So that's what we've got ahead of us. We will have Jackie McNamara on the channel in the lead up to the game. We'll also have another video tomorrow where we'll probably speak about what's going to happen. And it's going to be an interesting week as Celtic turn their attention to breaking Rangers again. Before I go, well done to the Celtic women's team who beat Partick Thistle 2-0 in the SWPL yesterday. Amy Gallagher netted there alongside an own goal. And to the B team who beat Rangers 3-1 at Ibrox in the Lowland League. In particular, well done to Dane Murray, who made his return after a year out. So great news there. And that's how we'll finish for today. We're back tomorrow.